Hello, community. My name's Paul Mills from Raptorium Core. Here we have David Owen Morris, who is also from Raptorium Core. And below me, we have the General Badass Hunter Schultz, who is with us tonight as well. Really nice to be here for a weekly update and got some new information for you all, which is pretty exciting as well. So, David, how are you? Nice to see you with your Raptorium shirt on.
Yeah, not too bad. It's still ungodly early on a Monday morning here, but yeah, we do have a few things moving. Got quite a bit of stuff moving, actually.
All right, you might as well get started then, David. What's going on?
Yeah. The big thing this week is probably ZegX being down. From their communication, it looks like they're going to be back up again in the coming week. We've seen a lot of drama over that. It's been absurd. Several projects are looking at forking because of coins on there.
So what actually happened, David? Why were they down for people who don't actually know?
If you trust their communications, they pulled the plug on their database server as a security precaution. Pulling the plug damaged some of the interval from the last backup. Between the last backup and the moment they pulled the plug, and it's restoring that data. That is taking a while, but let's see. I expect it to be up, running within the next week. I mean, there are no funds that have been moved without an explanation, and so on. So, I mean, it's... yeah. It is what it is.
Ralph has said the ZegX Discord, they've made all the channels read-only, apparently. Don't know if that's...
Yeah, right? Which is perfectly understandable because the level of retardation over there got... it got to the point of popcorn and joints. I mean, yeah. Oof. So it is what it is. Yeah, what else is going on? Quite a few things, really. Several projects are looking at forking over that. I believe one or two have actually already done this. And that's really not something you want to be doing. Because if they do come back online, then legally, if the project has forked, to freeze a wallet or to make a wallet not viable on-chain, what happens is that you've technically hacked that exchange. You can say, but we only changed the code on the chain and blah, blah, blah. True, but you are not talking about, for example, here, exploiting a blockchain. There's a difference between hacking into a blockchain, very clear, very distinct difference. If you're only hacking the chain, you're, for example, getting yourself some extra coins from the chain. That's perfectly legal for anything free, open source, and on the MIT license. It's a completely different scenario if you are making changes to it that changes anything that is already owned by somebody. And the coins on the exchange wallet are most definitely owned or held in trust by them as a custodian, and going out and doing so, it opens you up to all kinds of legal nastiness.
So explain to the community the mindset of some of these coins that are forking based on what's happened at ZegX. Why are they doing that?
I can understand it. Some of them have a huge percentage of their supply locked up on there because they've got lazy users who are using the exchange as a wallet.
So forking could basically close all those users out entirely, unless they have some sort of proof of what they're holding on ZegX.
How on earth is a project supposed to verify what's supposed to be on each individual user's account there, that there is no way for a project to do that?
Yeah, I assume that's going to
Um,
cause a lot of issues when they all come back to the chat screaming that they've been locked out of their coins or whatever. And there's another thing as well. I mean, if they do fork and ZegX do come back online, are they going to then have to,
then they're legally responsible for it. Whoever pushed those changes and accepted them.
do you think they would swap it on their platform for the new coin, or do you think they would just charge them a new fee for listing the new coin and then just
I don't know. They don't have any obligation to work with it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's so. I mean, if they charge them a fee for handling, swapping it over to a new wallet, if they charge them a fee for doing whatever basically needs to be done in order to keep people whole, that's perfectly reasonable as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, not ideal, but it is what it is. On a more positive note, we're also in the process of adding some additional depth to one of our upcoming partnerships by expanding the scope of cooperation. I've been working extensively on that, and once we get done with that, it should really enhance things greatly.
So what's going on with
development side?
Yeah, the code, yeah.
On the development side, we have signed builds on the way, and we are looking at also removing the miner from mainnet builds.
Yeah. So what's
just to get rid of all those stupid warnings on VirusTotal.
Yeah.
Because the detections on there are nonsense all the way through. It's just, in some cases, it's just because there is libcn, which is Cryptonote. Just having the library is enough to trigger some of that.
Yeah.
I mean, without the library doing anything or being linked to anything or anything at all, if you look at their detection rules, it's utterly stupid. But yeah, it is what it is. We've still got work ongoing on send many feature for assets, so you can do mass distributions in connection with NFT mints and that kind of stuff. What else? Metadata, easy addition of additional metadata is also on the coming very soon list. I think that's about it, really.
So this metadata, what will that mean that people will be able to add to the assets when they're creating assets apart from what they can already add right now?
I mean, you can look at it in two ways. It's making it simpler to add some of the data. It is going to take up a bit more space on chain, so some of the transactions are going to be a little bit more costly, but it's stuff like timestamps, unique hashes, anything else. For example, if you're uploading, let's say you want to do intellectual property protection on a piece of music. You take an MP3 file or a FLAC file or whatever of this piece of music. You get yourself the SHA-SUM for that file, just to prove beyond any kind of reasonable doubt that this is your file. You add that file and that hash to the upload. It's just simplifying that whole process, making everything a bit easier. A lot of it is not going to be something that you'll directly notice a difference on inside the wallet. It's mainly a difference for things like asset explorers, so they can more easily pull the data and display it nicely, make it basically look a lot more presentable.
Yeah, it'll also allow you to add like project information that's connected to the minted asset as well, right, David? So, like,
yeah, but you can already do that. It's just a question of how you do it and how it's displayed, making it all basically nicer, easier, more standardized format.
Okay. So as we mentioned before on streams, we are working on website pages at the moment in the background. That's still going on. That's still been going on for the last, week and a half, 2 weeks. and that's what I've been working on mostly. We've also created an early version of a mining deck, so miners can check out the deck and see some of the good points about the chain and why Raptorium's worth mining past the initial dollar value sort of thing. So that's something else that we're working on as well. Hunter, do you want to talk about the what you've been doing with the USPTO?
No, not really. Of course they do. Well, there's been some real movement and progress on the new, how do I call it? The web form, the easy way to create assets, which is something that's going on the development side. Developers working on it and making very good progress. And the reason I bring that up is that originally we were going to contact the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office and deliver another file. And we've come up with a new approach to them. So I have to refine some of that, but it's all good. It's essentially because of what we're doing with the metadata and what we're doing on this asset creation page. What we want to do is get their input on what they would like to see when they go on an Asset Explorer and what is the information that they need. So it's a perfect opportunity to get their input along with perhaps the Copyright Office. And that it's a great plausible reason, a real reason to reach out to them and say, hey, you're going to be getting a lot of this. And the reason they're going to be getting a lot of Raptorium assets, there'll be proof. And what we've done is essentially created the new, far better poor man's IP protection that used to be send yourself registered mail and which courts really don't really use it anymore. But this is essentially the new poor man's IP registration, IP protection tool.
I don't think you should say poor man's. I mean, come on. The innovative man's version of doing it.
Yeah. So, I know. I got to think of it. We have to think of a better name, but it's traditionally in the patent and copyright and trademark field. It's called the poor man's copyright protection. You can Google it. So I agree. Maybe it's something we come up with our own name, but we've updated it from the poor man's copyright protection. So anyway, this combination of things has changed our approach and what we want to do with them. And originally we were going to send them a much more thorough paper, which I've been working on, and that will be sent to them. But what we want to do is approach them in a slightly different way and get involved with the people who make these decisions and who would look at it from their alternative dispute resolution board at USPTO. So if someone, let's say, has a patent or a trademark and they say, hey, you're infringing on it, instead of going to court, they can use this. It's like an arbitration board. So what we want is for the arbitration boards between the Copyright Office, they have theirs, the Copyright Claims Board, and then the ADR at the Patent Office. We want their input to say, okay, what we need is this information. We need the following file format, or we want to make their job easier. And because this is a very inexpensive way of protecting IP, it's going to be used, and they're going to be getting it as proof. They're going to be getting it as part of the dispute resolution process. So they better know about it. And because it's very unique, i.e. assets are created and recorded on the blockchain, no smart contracts needed, it is far more reliable and more immutable, better in every single way. They're going to be getting a lot of this coming in the future, and they better know how to deal with it. But this is a good time for you to input, so it's easy for you. We want to make it easy for them, which in turn helps them say, we like Raptorium, which, that would be excellent. So we've changed some of the things, how we're dealing with what we're sending them, the files we're sending them. The invitation is changing. So tomorrow, that invitation is going to be going out. The Carney ad that we're doing starts Friday, this coming Friday. And now we're reaching into brand managers along the same lines of IP, sending them to a specific blog post, and we'll be creating more content around that for them. And that's going to set the stage for more IP protection awareness within that community. So the combination of things going on here is quite fabulous. I mean, it is truly fabulous what's happening. I want to just take a moment to talk about the fast assets creation page. The development has been nothing short of astounding. We're just sitting back and going, wow, there's so much being done right now, and that's been done. We sent what you would call a best practices guide for creators to them, and it turns out their database is already in alignment with it. A couple of tweaks and that's it. So anyway, a lot of great progress there. It's flying. I wish I could give you a when date. I'm not going to do that because I'll get stung. But it's looking great, and I can't wait for it to be finished because that enables so much. That's our killer app. It really is. IP is going to be a terrific tool, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
To be honest with you, I don't think you've actually explained properly what is actually going on. So I think I'm going to chime in here. So,
okay,
a lot of you know MJ. He's built Raptorium AI that we currently use for all sorts of things, and some of you do, and it's going to be added onto the website pretty soon as well. So you'll all be able to see that, and we'll have a news release going out for that. But on top of this, as Hunter mentioned, this was the low-hanging fruit for the project, based on what we can do right now and what's really valuable to the world and to protecting IP. So David was chatting with Hunter and suggested, that an easy way for people to create an asset and have the IP connected to that would be, a game changer, because people don't really want to actually have to go through the core wallet or anything like that to actually, create an asset and do all of that, because, it is quite cumbersome for people who are not familiar with it. So MJ and his team have been working on a UI, which is, in my opinion, big news for IP protection on the blockchain, because it's currently not, it hasn't been done before, a dedicated thing. They are making serious progress in, what you could call a Raptorium asset creation and management system for protecting intellectual property with blockchain technology. So what's currently done is they have a fully functional backend and database to store and manage assets. You can actually create assets. You don't need, to initially have RTM coins there and then to create the assets. You can simply pay a small fee with Stripe, so that's straight off your card, and have the asset populate into the UI. There's a React front end, so users can now create and also view assets dynamically. There's a cool thing where if there's any changes in IP along the time, you can document the historical changes using sub assets. So your IP asset would be the master asset. Your documentation or your licensing, which is attached to that asset, is part of the sub asset system within the same UI. So it's really good for organizing this sort of thing as well. The core API is now live. They've done a lot of development on it. It can handle asset uploads, edits as well, and also deletions of assets in the same UI. There's some things that are next. They're gonna have the full integration with the IPFS storage be it the Raptorium cluster or a custom cluster for the IP protection. There's going to be blockchain minting directly in there to create immutable ASIC fingerprints. There's going to be also more familiar authentication for secure access as well. More or less what people are used to using in other website environments. Also, as Hunter mentioned, we've got further metadata being added. Well, David mentioned it, being added to the way that you can mint assets. So that's going to be also part of what this UI contains. And this matters because, as Hunter mentioned, we are working on trying to get official recognition from the Patent Office for IP, which means assets registered with Raptorium could serve as solid legal evidence. Currently, they meet all the criteria, but having that official recognition is something that'd be really cool. This could revolutionize digital rights and IP protection for creators worldwide. Hunter's mentioned the market that is currently out there, the amount of creators that there are, and having a UI like this and having also possible extensions and integrations with direct creation software such as DaVinci Resolve or Pro Tools or things like that, directly into that is something that really could provide value for creators directly in their software, if we can get that rolling as well. So, we believe this is something that people are not doing at the moment on blockchain, and it's a sort of something where we can actually step into that and provide some value with the security of the chain that Raptorium provides in comparison to chains that are solely reliant on smart contracts in performing these operations. So that's the general gist of it. Work is happening really fast, and we're all excited about what's to come from that.
Yeah. I should mention that the ideal outcome is that the Patent and Trademark Office or the Copyright Office, both of them say, yeah, Raptorium, if you're going to present blockchain evidence for trademark or whatever, Raptorium's what we're going to standardize on, how they do things. And that's why I want them involved. And even if we don't get that, we can still say, well, special thanks to the Patent and Trademark Office plus the Copyright Office for, helping refine, what we're doing. We can still use that. But the point is that even if we're not allowed to, it's still a win. It's still a huge win because we can mention that, we can mention what we've done.
And what also needs to be mentioned is that with the same UI, it's essentially a web form, slightly more advanced web form, but it's not really limited to intellectual property protection. You can do all kinds of other things with exactly the same data fields. You can do the traceability projects we have initially looked at. Once we get some kind of QR code system integrated into it, you can do EdTech, transcript certification, all that kind of stuff. You can do degree certification, all that kind of stuff. It's the sky's the limit. It's just a question of getting a simple UI out to people where they can make use of it and leverage what blockchain is all about without having to necessarily go and buy some crypto first.
Yeah. There's one thing that I want to note that he has under metadata and legal and licensing purposes. We should offer structured metadata templates based on asset type, music, art, writing, etc., which, the creativity coming out of all this is terrific. So we're in a good place to address a number of different markets, just that, this is easily one of the biggest low-hanging fruit. If you want to extrapolate some numbers and do your own research, not financial advice, there are 300 million creators. Roughly 30 million of those, about 10%, are actively trying to make money with it, and in the hundreds of thousands that are essentially making money with it. So then you have the people, another, call it 500 million. So between, it's estimated about 800 million to a billion that have the ability to create content. And someone is at a party, they play a tune, and everyone goes, "Oh wow, that's great! You should like record that and get it into, have someone perform it." One of the first things they should do is protect their copyright. And just like The Lion Sleeps Tonight, that story is one of the hooks that we'll use for selling this to the world. There's going to be people out there that do this. They put it on our blockchain, and a year from now, 2 years from now, someone's going to come knocking on their door. "Hey, we heard your music on the blockchain. We'd like to license it." So it's a huge deal for a lot of people out there, just to give them hope.
The most ridiculous assets. It'll help with the trivia nights as well, and it's good for the community. There has been a Talent Wallet update from Mancini. I'll just skip over it now. Mancini saying, during our team meeting, that's with the developers, yesterday we came to the conclusion that we only need a month to finish the beta. So even though I'm still not giving you a date, you should know that it's still the same as it was a month ago. So that's reassuring, at least for me. We are busy integrating all the new services that we had created in the past 2 months and cleaning up. I had described the new components in detail in my past announcements, so not going to do that now. So if you want to go and check that out, that's on the Osmium Discord. I think that does feed over to the RTM one as well, or maybe not. But yeah, go and check that out on the Osmium Discord as well. Also, Balinox, who's is in the dev channel for the game as well. I think he is. Balinox has created a faucet for RTM coins. That is at raptorium.free.fr. .fr because it's French. It's all in French, but you can actually translate it to English in your browser if you click the button. Every time you go on there, you can get 10 RTM with a simple verification, where you have to match the pictures up or say that there's bridges there or something, and also input in an RTM address as well. So go and check that out if you want a few RTMs just to get you started, or you want to. Is it like a daily thing? It refreshes or something? Maybe it is. I don't know.
I think so, yeah.
I've only used it once, but yeah, go and check that out. Yeah. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
Guys, I'm afraid I've got to run. I've got to get the kids to school. No
problem, David. Good to have you on the stream.
Cheers.
Catch you later, man.
And
thanks.
Have fun. And Hunter, you keep this Northern English stuff in line, yeah?
Northern English?
Rummingham.
I'm in the middle, mate. It's West Midlands. It's the Midlands because it's the middle. It's the Middle Lands.
Middle Lands. There you go.
The land of spicy parsnip soup.
You've been away from England too long, David. You need to come over and visit.
Ah, no.
Yeah.
The depression, the government spying, the overreach, fuck no. No.
And on that bombshell.
just come over for the food, David. There's obviously some foods that you do miss, like proper cheddar cheese. Come on.
Well, that's a bit more tempting. Yeah.
Okay. All right, David. I'll catch you later as well.
Cheers, guys.
See you.
All right. So we have got a few questions on the YouTube channel. If you've got any questions for us, please shoot them across either in the Stream Party chat or the YouTube channel. But before the stream started, we did have a few questions that came through. So I will read them now. They are from a guy called John Burgm or Bergum or something like that. But let's have a look. So he says, hello, I would like to know what your listing policy will be on exchanges after the ZX hack. I mean, it's the same, really. We're not going to change it. I mean, ZegX has been a decent exchange up until now. I hope they're sorted out. We do have obviously additional exchanges planned for the future. But yeah, there's no sort of policy in place. We're just not going to list in scammy areas. Obviously, we cannot control if someone lists us in a place where we didn't list it, because anyone can list any coin in any place. I mean, you could list us on KuCoin tomorrow if you arranged it and paid the fee, and we wouldn't even know that you'd done it. So we have our own sort of due diligence in place for where we list. He also says, hello, I am interested in using the Raptorium blockchain for intellectual protection, in particular for registering my songs. How do you plan to manage the pricing of file registration on the blockchain? Well, right now, initially, the cost for creating an asset on RTM using the core wallet is 100 for asset creation and 100 for minting, so that's 200 RTM. If at any point that becomes detriment to the end user, then that fee can actually be changed by the developers to keep it as low as possible and as suitable as possible for the end user. So we have mentioned this before on other streams. That's just the initial fee that was in place when the assets were released. But yes, that can change. It could also be in a future update. It's possible that it could be a dynamically changing fee based on factors on the network. But at Raptorium, we wanted to make sure that fees were fair, and it was one of the lowest fees to do transactions and for creating a run of assets compared to most other chains out there. So that was really important to the team and to the overall project. So by all means, that will change depending on how the costings are.
You might want to mention, like, if you're an artist, a musician, and you've got your master asset, your name, your band name or your artist name is a master asset, and then you have an album, you might want to explain the pricing for the album, because you have the master asset for the album, and then you have the songs as sub-assets. So the question is, do you pay 100 RTM for the sub-assets each?
Well, if you wanted to be thrifty with it, what you could do is you could just use a master asset for it, and you would put the whole album onto the master asset, right? And then you would use the metadata to document what was in that master asset. But what the ideal solution would be, especially if you're distributing from that point, would be to have the master asset for your name and your album, or just your album, and then you would have sub assets under that, multiple mints of sub assets under that for your different songs that are underneath the album. So that will help with licensing and also distribution to your end user, if that's the way you're going to do it. But in terms of IP protection, I don't think I would suggest keeping that separate from your distribution line, because IP protection only needs to have that single asset in place for the master asset and for the sub asset. And I would advise you to keep your distribution assets separate to all of that, so you can so it's easier to organize things which are not necessarily IP related. If you get what I'm saying. Obviously they are immutable, but they are different type of assets for the end user to actually receive. So you don't want the end user receiving IP and all the data that comes along with that. He's also asking, will it be fixed or dynamic depending on the RTM price and network congestion? That's the idea of it. Initially, it will be manual by the developers, but as I've mentioned, it'd be nice to see dynamic pricing of asset creation, just like some of the other chains out there. But for now, it is a very low price to create a run of assets, and also I've heard as well. There are talks from the developers being able to create a run of multiple different assets under one run. So example, a run of NFTs that are all different files under one run, because currently, if you were to do that, it can get costly if you are minting lots of different ones under one brand of NFTs, for example. So that is something that the devs are hopefully going to be changing in the future. But for now, like I say, it's very low cost, and I invite anyone to come and try the asset system, and also the future UI as well for protecting intellectual property. As you've mentioned, I'd like you to come and use that and see what we've been working on, because we're really excited about it.
And the network congestion question is sort of, well, for us, it's sort of academic. I mean, with transaction decoupling, it's really not. I mean, not even now, it's not that big of a deal. But with transaction decoupling, it's not like gas fees and things like that on ETH.
Yeah.
And as Charlie once said to me, I invite you to go to create an asset using a smart contract. I said, no, thanks. No. And then compare it to what we're doing on top of the security of it being secured by the blockchain. But anyway, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, creating assets on other chains using smart contracts, using Remix IDE and all that, it is costly. It doesn't matter what EVM chain you use. I mean, even on Solana, it can cost quite a bit. And I know that Solana has cheap fees for sending and receiving assets and like that, but actually creating a run of assets on Solana is still, obviously not as much as Ethereum, but it still can be costly depending on the service that you're using. Let's have a look. What else is there?
He had a question. Do you have any information on estimated costs and how digital assets will be recorded immutably?
Well, the costs The costs I've already mentioned. There are 100 RTM to create the asset, 100 RTM to mint, and that's that. How digital assets will be recorded immutably. So as we've mentioned, you can add files to your asset when you create it, and you can add custom metadata to that as well. And metadata is set to get more in depth, as David has mentioned earlier, which can allow you to document your IP more in depth, and also provide a lot more information surrounding that using the master and sub asset system, if you wish to do so. So I think it'd be a good idea to see how we're doing it on the upcoming UI that Michael J is working on with his team over there, and also and keep an eye on what developments that we are talking about on this weekly update as hunters, exploring more in depth with the whole legal side of this. I know he's. What did you
from it?
Exactly, yeah.
From it.
He's cross-eyed from it. He's been looking at it so much, especially the last document that you made. You spent a lot of time on that.
5 days.
Yeah, so
refining that down to something that was, uncrossing my eyes. But it was, it's not. As I said last update. I encourage you all to take a business law course or something and get some of that, at least read up on it, because it will help you. I mean, Raptorium becomes successful you're going to need to read contracts, like buying houses, expensive stuff. The fine print can kill you. So I just encourage that. It's helped me immeasurably over the years. So
Grey Race is saying, how will that data increase the date? How will that data increase the database? I mean, it's not going to be hugely substantial. It'll be a slightly higher fee if you're including metadata into the actual transaction of creating the assets. It's not going to be something that you'll notice, but it's just the actual transaction fee in facilitating that. But yeah, you won't notice. The fees are so low anyway that it's nothing.
ridiculously low.
Nice to see RBA in the chat. How you doing, brother?
RBA, there it is.
RBA, yeah, the pilot. We had a good conversation with RBA in the Raptorium voice chat the other day.
Did.
I have renamed the voice chat to something more sensible. I don't know whether you've noticed. It is now, what is it? Raptorius.
Raptorius, yes.
Yeah, I think it was Trollheim and Grinder before. That was David. He's very childish sometimes. All right, that's about it for that. If you want to go over to the stream party chat, Hunter, then that's all right.
So far, there's one that's directed at me. What is the projection of assets in RTM that will be created since we get approved by a USA trademark? Well, regardless of getting approved by a USA trademark, it's still going to be a very viable way of protecting IP, and it's just we're trying to make it easy for those assets to be essentially accepted as evidence. And what do they need to what do we need to do while we're developing this to make it easy for them to go, oh yeah, okay, we need to be able to see this, and this. We want to be able to down a PDF file that has all the information, whatever it is that they require in their current systems. So, but the market itself, it's not reliant upon the U.S. authorities or any other authority. It's just going to be, let's just say, I won't say more difficult. They're just going to have a process to go through to judge whether or not Raptorium is an acceptable evidence. What we're trying to do is make that process kind of a done deal, even if they don't come out and officially say it. It's going to be easier for them if they work with us now rather than us going back and trying to redo something. So it's an ideal time to be having this conversation with them. So I'm not really worried about an approval by them. It's going to happen anyway. And you've got how many assets? I mean, there are literally billions of assets that could be created, because you have assets being created all the time, songs, videos, copyrights, whatever. But think of all the creative works that have been done over the last 25, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, because trademarks last 70 years. Or is it copyright? Well, no, trademarks never expire. You just have to pay the fee. But copyrights 70 years and sometimes can be extended. And then patents are, 20 years or something. So the point is you've got a lot of stuff from 10 years ago that you can use the Raptorium blockchain to show what you've done with it, and any bit of evidence, especially immutable evidence from blockchain, you can put into a court and say, here, have a look. And then they'll go through their thing, and that's part of what I've been working on is, showing how we meet U.S. federal rules of evidence, which is what a federal court or any court is going to look at. That's their benchmark. And as long as we meet what's called the hearsay exception, we're good to go. So that's all part of this, connecting and networking and so it's all looking good. It's just this has been the progress that we've made has kind of thrown the timeline, the what we were going to do off, and in a good way. I'm not complaining at all. This is even better. So, things are looking, thank you. I wasn't looking at you, but I'm looking at him up there. It's like, thank you, God, because this is really good. And there you are, Paul.
We have got one more that's just come through on the YouTube. This is from RBA, and he said, I would like to know if RTM can solve all assets, NFT, DeFi, everything we need, etc. on layer 1 without using layer 2 and 3. Well, yes, that's what we're doing. That's what we're working towards. You can do many of the functions currently available on chains that require smart contracts or a layer 2 on the layer 1. Obviously, smart contracts are basically rules or automations that are programmed, and they can help with swap platforms and things like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we can't do that. Like I've mentioned before, we've got developers like Shunam on the growth server developing a marketplace, which is in effect a swap platform if you think about it. So in terms of your question, yes, absolutely, anything like that can be done. And also when we have the Talon wallet with assets integration and the speed that we've already demonstrated, I don't see why not that we can't compete with the other big chains out there and possibly make them look stupid. Well, that's what I'm hoping for anyway. But yeah, that's the end goal, and that's why we're all here working hard on trying to build this circular economy around this coin, and and this is why we've never given up after all these years, and we're still working on making brand new things that you haven't seen in the space before, especially in UTXO. I mean, if we were an EVM chain, yes, we would be more advanced in our development, because people have done a lot of the things that we are aspiring towards beforehand. But with that comes security risks, and when people are banking on protecting IP, for example, as Hunch just mentioned, they're looking for something more secure to actually do that on, and we provide the perfect solution to that. And the same applies for DeFi environments as well, with assets and things like that. I mean, you've seen many wallet hijacks and this and that on EVM chains, and the way that happens simply cannot be done on Raptorium due to the way that the network is deployed all on the protocol layer. So this is why we're excited, and this is why everyone watching and also the whole community should be excited as well, because it's something worthwhile, and it's not exactly copying someone else's code, apart from our base layer, which was a very early Dash layer. Compared to that now, we're an entirely new chain, considering the amount of code that's gone into what we've already built. So we thank Dash for the leg up, but right now we're far more advanced in terms of code, and far more advanced in terms of our original aspirations on making Ravencoin making a better Ravencoin chain, just from our asset system, which is a master asset sub asset system, just from that alone. So yeah, it's exciting stuff, and we're eager to complete this economy of use, because when people see value in a circular economy, when people see a way to actually put value into what they create and back it by websites, back it by their own social media, with the extra space on the metadata, and also be able to transact it in a place where they can actually provide value in a marketplace, that's really important. So that's what we're aiming for.
Yep. I should point out that there are a couple of so-called blockchains that are offering IP protection, one of which is a third-party you got to trust a third party for it. It's not direct. Like none of them are direct. So or neither of them are direct. And the other one is it's more localized. It's in Russia. So, you know, from an international standpoint, I think they're probably going to have a marketing problem with that. It's not decentralized like we are. And then the blockchain is still sort of ethereal. I haven't figured out what blockchain they're using even. So you'd think they would point that out, but I don't know. Anyway, the point is that we're in a what used to be called, maybe it still is, a blue ocean environment, and that's really good. I mean, that's really good. I don't know what it's called now, but you know, someone in the chat can fill me in. But there's a lot of opportunity.
Okay, I think we're just about done. Yep. Okay, that's right, Fudweiser. We're here just to make all the chains look stupid. You know, it'd be good, wouldn't it? It'd be good to be in that position. As you can see, Fudweiser, your sticker is on the stream today as well. Hope you feel privileged about that. And also, Fudweiser is currently running the Engage. So if you want to take part in helping us with marketing on X, please request the Tweet to Woo role on the Discord, and an admin will give you that. When you get that role, you will be able to see the Engage channels and take part in helping the project grow. Also, it really helps us out if you become a member of this channel. There's 4 different levels, 4 different price points, and you know, it really helps the project grow, especially with what me and Hunter are doing with Carney and other areas as well that we're possibly exploring in the future. So you know, also if you do become the maximum member of this YouTube channel, you do get the Rigatoshi role as well, which is the biggest role that you can actually get on the Discord. Yeah, it's the top.
Yes.
It's more than a Gigatoshi, and that used to be the biggest role. This is, you know, this is something. So,
Yeah.
And you actually get a it's like a golden thing, isn't it? A golden Raptorium logo for being
You're special.
Yeah, extra
You're
special.
really special. Extra special.
If you're not already following us at X, please do that. That is at Raptorium. We're also on Instagram and also Threads as well, with the same username. So go and follow us on there. We're on TikTok as well. That's Artificial Raptorium. And we're also on Facebook as well. You can just search for Raptorium on Facebook. All the posts and things that get posted to X will automatically go to Facebook as well. We're on lots of platforms actually, Reddit and Bitcoin Talk and all that. So go and check them all out. Again, I'll mention, please give this stream a like. If you want to comment, if you want to make a comment, you can make a comment after the stream ends. I think the comments get reset and you can post a comment below. You don't need to become a member to support the project. You can also just click subscribe at the bottom of this video and click the little bell to be kept up to date with any more Raptorium videos or weekly updates or guides or Raptor chain reaction videos. Me and Hunter will be doing another Raptor chain reaction video possibly sometime in the coming week. So yeah, so you can look forward to that as well. Any final words, Hunter?
Other than thanks for all the support, and we're really looking forward to the next, well, we're looking forward to the near future, let's put it that way. And hang on.
Also, if you're not already at Discord, the link is at the top right of the stream. That is discord.gg/Raptorium. And after the stream, we always do a little bit of rain in the stream party chat. So if you want to grab some Raptorium coins, join the Discord right now. Do a simple verification. Head over to the stream party chat. You will get yourself a Raptorium wallet just from being in the Discord. That is called the Stacy wallet, run by our lead developer. And you get your own keys when you have that wallet. You know, it's your own wallet. You have your own private keys with it. So it's not centralized or anything like that. So head over to the stream party chat and collect that sweet Raptorium. Cheers, guys. Until next week.
Cheers. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Oh, actually, before I go, I'm sure my wife said to me that I was busy on Sunday. I'm sure of it. So it might not be a stream on Sunday. I need to check with the boss.
Good idea.
But I'm sure she said we were away Sunday and Monday because it's the kids' half term or something like that. I will check and I will let the community know anyway. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.